You are listening to Best in Seattle Real Estate with host Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420. This podcast is for real estate agents. Tina interviews the best of the best agents in the greater Seattle market. Learn strategies and the mindset needed to be your best. If you're looking to take your real estate business to the next level, this show is for you.
Welcome to Best in Seattle Real Estate Podcast, sponsored by Hubbard Radio Seattle. I am your host and local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. My show is with real estate agents for real estate agents. My lineup is exclusive and reserved for the best of the best in the greater Seattle real estate market based on closed transactions in the last 12 months. If you are a real estate agent looking to level up your game, you are in the right place. My guest today is here to share what he has learned over the years that has taken him to the top in the real estate field. Now in studio, Gordy Marks of RE/MAX. Welcome, Gordy. Thanks for coming back into the studio.
Well, thank you, Tina. I appreciate you having me on today.
Absolutely. Gordy and his team are the highest producing small team for RE/MAX in Washington State for the last 2 years and number 15 in the country. Congratulations for that, Gordy.
Thank you.
Gordy has closed 44 transactions in the last 12 months, and that earns him the title of industry leader. And he is here today to share his secrets to success. Data provided and verified by MMI, Mobility Market Intelligence. Gordy, again, really excited to have you on the show this morning.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah. I would also like to give a big shout out and a big thank you to my producer at Hubbard Radio, Benny.
Hey there, Tina. Welcome back and good to see you again. And oh man, my hand is so heavy. Oh, that's right, because I got engaged since I've seen you last.
Congratulations, Benny. I wish I had some of the music tools over here that you do. I can play in some type of music. But yeah,
no.
Congratulations to both of you. After 5
Thank
years,
you.
he finally put a ring on it.
Yep, finally did it. And I actually did it really fast. I did it on 5/15 of 25 to represent the 5-year mark too as well. So kind of made sure I had to pick that day specifically.
Yeah, well, you got yourself a good one. Congratulations, Benny.
Thank you, Tina.
Yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes and it takes a team to make happen what we do here. So I get a big thank you to Benny. All right, before we get started, before we get started, we're just going to go ahead and kick right into it. Gordy, with the number of families that you've helped buy and sell real estate, how do you manage a work-life balance?
That's a great question, Tina. You know, it's important to me to do that because I have a family of my own, 3 kids at home, and I don't want to miss out on all the growing up years, because I feel like real estate's one of those careers that can take up all of your time if you let it. And while it's really important to me, it's not the most important thing in my life. So I've done a couple things that have really helped. Number one, I do have a small team. And what that does, it allows me to not be the one that is there 24/7. Of course, I'm available for emergencies, and I do work a lot, but I do have break time too. And so we schedule time with our family. We go on trips. I don't feel like our clients suffer because I do have a small team to take up the slack. They're all really good at what they do. So it's not like clients are getting handed off to a brand new agent. Also, I have certain things like, as a family, we sit down to dinner every night and I don't answer the phone during dinner. It's one of those things. Our kids, our boys, they like to eat fast and get back to whatever they're doing, but they have to sit at the table. Kind of my wife's rule is it's family time, at least for 15 or 20 minutes. And I think that's one of the things, we've made mistakes over the years, but that's one of the things we really did right. So, little things like that, just protecting our time as a family. Also work out a lot. And I feel like that helps me to do better for my clients. So there's just a couple things to have that work-life balance and not completely be overtaken by real estate.
Yeah, and Gordy, thank you so much for sharing that because I think sometimes people think that real estate is an exception to the rule, and it's not. We're here talking with a producer of 44, helping 44 families in the last 12 months, and his family comes first, and being able to enjoy the time with your family. And I think clients are going to respect the boundaries that you set, and if you don't set boundaries, there is no boundaries. And if you run a high efficient team, your process runs smooth like an assembly line, and you don't have to be there when there's small things that come up that need your attention on an exception basis. You're there to do that. Most of the time things run efficiently and smooth, so you can be in the top 1% in the industry and have a life, a balanced life as well. And I speak from experience as well, 30 years in the mortgage industry, top producer myself, and we've got 2 grandbabies. We babysit them every Friday and Saturday, and out of all of the grandparents, I'm definitely the one that's known that doesn't carry her phone around and have that quiet time. So really important. Thank you for that, Gordy.
Nice.
So our industry has good and challenging markets for sure. Just like anything else in life, it's balanced. So you have to accept the good and navigate and look at the positive even when there's challenges. So how do you stay positive, Gordy, in a challenged when the market is challenged or you're dealing with personal challenges in your business?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things, and it's a mindset, I think, more than anything. The mindset that I have taken on is that the market will be up, it'll be down. I need to do a certain amount of transactions every month, and it's not very many compared to the whole. So in the Seattle market, we're going to have 3,000-4,000 sales every month. I only need like 5,
Yeah.
4 or 5 is great. I don't need 10.
Mhm.
And so, it's how do I get my 4 or 5 transactions? That's really the focus. And if we're in a slow time, I know, having done this like you for so many years, that a really busy time is just around the corner. So keep on doing what I'm doing, keep on prospecting, keep on meeting with our, top referring clients, the things that bring us business. Don't stop. Don't, just go goof around because it's quiet. But then there is a time to play. I learned a long time ago from one of my mentors that he used to say that when the tide is in, it's time to row your boat. When the tide is out, you go dig clams. So,
Love it.
there is time to play a little bit and kind of knowing the difference. I think the big thing is to, over the long haul, not give up on our prospecting and the things that have made us successful. And also, I think, Tina, you're a really positive person, so I'm sure you've adopted this mindset, which is be around people that are positive thinkers,
Yeah.
not a bunch of naysayers, negative Nellies. I just don't have time for that. Complainers, people that are like, woe is me, the interest rates are really high. You know what? The interest rates are higher than they were, but
Mhm.
people still have to live somewhere.
Yes.
So there's still going to be a certain amount of transactions, and people like you and me are going to succeed even in a tough market. In fact, we might even do better
Yes.
in a tough market because we get more market share.
Yeah. And I love how you know exactly how many transactions are going on a basis. And I only need this little tiny percentage of that. So having a realization of what's really happening in the market. And yeah, energy is real, Gordy, for sure. And we definitely want to surround ourselves around positive people. Not that we can always be around positive people, but the people that we hang and we are around all the time and we're investing our time in. And the ones that are not, if we can put a little bit of sprinkle of positivity in there, I really believe that we can help people that look at the glass half full to see that there's potential to see that glass, that they can fill that glass up and actually look at it half, or they look at it half empty, that we can sprinkle in some positivity that they see there's a chance to actually see that that glass can be filled up. And yeah, mindset is really where it's all at. And I like also, just as a reminder to people that are listening to the show today, that when the market is a little bit slower, that really is a benefit for us because it gives us a chance to sharpen our tools, to relook at our marketing, see the strategies that are working, the strategies are not, that really time to maybe focus some more time on our personal growth so that we can take advantage of the opportunity that things aren't quite as busy. So great takeaway, Gordy's, for sure. So coming up next on Best in Seattle Real Estate Podcast, continued conversation with Gordy Marks of RE/MAX.
So how do you choose your mortgage professional partner when referring your buyers? Tina Mitchell, 145-420, is passionate about her career in the mortgage industry because of the challenges her family faced keeping a roof over their heads. She played her violin with her little sister at Pike Place Market as street performers to help their parents pay the bills. This was a traumatic experience for her, but drove her to work hard and realize the success she has today. Tina purchased her first home when she was 20, and this gave her a sense of pride and security that her parents did not have. Helping others reach their dreams of home ownership is rewarding to Tina. Tina has been in the mortgage industry for over 25 years and has been recognized in the top 1% nationwide. For more information on how Tina is helping her buyers stand out next to their competition, go to TinaMitchellTeam.com. That's TinaMitchellTeam.com.
Welcome back to Best in Seattle Real Estate Podcast, sponsored by Hubbard Radio Seattle. I am your host and local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. Continued conversation with Gordy Marks of RE/MAX. Are you a real estate agent looking for that one thing to take your business to new heights? Gordy is here to motivate you to be your best. You will learn what he is doing and how you can implement his best practices into your real estate business. Today, Gordy is sharing his strategies and the mindset needed to be the best in the industry. Gordy is here to inspire other real estate agents to level up their real estate business. Gordy, thank you again for being here with me today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All successful people have regular routines to help them at their best and also to help stay positive through the challenging times that definitely visit all of us. So, Gordy, how do you start out your day to maintain your positive mindset?
Well, I think really, Tina, my day starts the night before. And what I mean by that is I remember so many times staying up late watching some show or movie and thinking, oh, why did I do that? It wasn't even worth it. And then I get to bed late and wake up tired. What I've done instead is I just go to bed earlier. And, I try to, hit it like 10 o'clock. And, unless there's something special, I'm in bed and I'm asleep like quick. So I try to get some good sleep. I wake up early. I probably wake up between 4:30 and 5. Usually grab a cup of coffee. I do some reading every morning, journaling, something that I started probably 25, 30 years ago, just kind of journaling almost every day. And then when I'm really tired on those days when you just don't quite click, instead of journaling, I'll go back and read some of my old journaling and just see kind of how things have worked out, where something was a stress on my mind and it worked out and it starts me in a real positive way. From there, I usually go work out, try to get a 30 to 45 minute workout in. And then it's, in our house with three teenagers, it's full bore getting them ready for school. And you'd think by the time they're teenagers, they could get themselves ready, but sometimes they need a little kick in the pants. But, I'm to the office pretty much every day by 9 o'clock. I live close to work, so it's easy. And that's kind of how our day starts. Team meeting 9:30 every morning. We know what's going on with every one of our files, Monday through Friday. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that is great. I believe that how you start and end your day are the bookcases or the book covers and ending to a successful day. And yeah, I like the reflection. I call it my reflection challenge, and I do it right before I go to bed at night. I write down all of my successes for the day, and I write down all of what I thought might have been my challenges. And I go back, and every night I just kind of reflect and look at different entries, because that's where you can really connect your dots. If you have not watched, if you're listening to the show and you have not watched the Steve Jobs commencement speech where he talks about connecting his dots, game changer for me. Because if you go back and you look at all your defining moments in life, every defining moment connects to another defining moment. The key thing is what was your choice in those challenging defining moments, and that choice you made is what's going to lead you to the next one. So being able to have a positive mindset around those challenges and know that every dot is going to connect, good or bad. There's a reason that that those things are visiting us. So I love that, Gordy. And yeah, the team meetings, it's important to have those huddles in the morning and know what's happening with business, and you know, just starting your morning out well, that you feel strong and ready to go for the day. So thank you for sharing your routine, Gordy.
Bet.
So agents listening to the show today, with the changes around compensation disclosure, some may be having a challenging time in this conversation. So how do you deal with the question, Gordy, around your compensation as a real estate expert?
Yeah, compensation is probably the biggest objection from our clients. Excuse me, I've got something caught my throat.
Hate it when that happens.
I'm so sorry.
It's totally.
At the most inopportune time. Um, you know, I think the thing that I've worked on over the years, and I had a coach years ago that worked really hard with me on dialogue. And I think knowing your dialogue and believing it in your heart, then you don't have to think about it on the spot. And one of the things that couple things on compensation, I tell people, you know, you can hire somebody that will work for you for cheaper than me. I am not the least expensive option. But hopefully, my goal is always to bring the most value. So I try to get people to focus on what they walk away with, not what they're paying in terms of brokerage fee. We track our numbers every year, list price to sale price. I encourage everybody that's listening to do the same. And you need to track it on transactions when you're helping a seller, and also during that same time period when you're helping a buyer.
Yeah.
Hopefully the numbers are lower when you're helping a buyer and higher when you're helping the seller, and that goes to your negotiation.
Yeah.
So I try to flip the script and get the potential seller to think about how I'm going to negotiate on their behalf. So it's going from a cost to a value, you know, in talking about that. And then at the end of the day, Tina, you know, one of the things that's in my heart that I usually will say is, at the end of the day, I want to earn you more than I cost you. And if I can't, then I really don't have any business being there. I don't want to be a middleman. I don't want to be a drag on your equity. I just put it right up there, because that's what people are thinking. They're thinking, why do I have to hire this middleman salesperson? It's like if you were in a lawsuit and it was a big one,
Mm-hmm.
you want the best attorney. You don't want the cheapest attorney, right? And same thing with the surgeon, you know, I mean, you don't think about who's the least expensive surgeon if you've got a life-threatening illness. You want the person who's got the steadiest hand and is going to get you through. Well, people's homes, usually, not always, but usually it's their biggest asset.
Yeah.
And I always talk about protecting their investment. And so my business is built on relationship building. I try to step into their shoes. When they get to know me and realize that I really do care about what they walk away with, the whole dialogue on compensation, it's really a moot point, usually.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, if they don't get it,
It's
I'm
okay.
I'm not the right fit.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's shifting, because the great people in the industry, you're not in sales, you're in service.
Right.
And discounted price is discounted service. And I love, you know, you mentioned the objections, because there are common objections in every industry, and they're the same objections for everybody. And compensation absolutely is one of them. And knowing first what those objections are, and then learning how to eliminate versus overcoming. I don't believe in overcoming objections. You know what they are. So lead with the objections so that you can eliminate them before they even come up. And, you know, bringing in stories of what is that, you know, that nightmare nightmare story that you've turned into a success story. Bringing that into those objections is really great as well, because you're able to connect on the emotional level. And then I like giving people a one sheet, the 171 things that I have to offer. And you're not going to go over 171 things, but what you can have on that one sheet is cross out all of the things that don't come with a discounted shop. I mean, here's the 171 things I'm going to do for you. What do you got there, Gordy?
I have a one sheet.
I love it.
I am glad you said that. I used to have this big binder like a lot of people do, and I was like, I think people are getting bored listening to this dog and pony show. And so I put it out there to like a group of about 6 to 8 people that didn't know me. They were people I knew.
Okay.
And he said, hey, my real estate broker is asking for some input. You don't know him. Can you put some input? And the one thing that I got back from these people was there's too much stuff. We don't care about all that.
Yeah.
And so I came up with my one sheet. So my binder, if you will, that I have now, it's very thin.
Yes.
It's like 5 pages.
But
really, it's all on this one page, like you just said. Sorry, it's kind of blurred because of my background, but it says at the top, why hire us?
Yes.
And I'm like, you have 30,000 choices in real estate brokers that you could hire. So, and I say this just like this. I say, if I'm sitting in your shoes, I want to ask, hey, Gordy, why should I hire you?
Yes.
What is it that you're going to provide that the other 30,000 can't?
Yeah.
And on this, we have like 5 things that and they're all focused on money, on not what it's going to cost, but what it's going to return.
Yes.
So everybody needs to have a one pager, a why hire us.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can have a page on your background, one page, or more than one page. People don't give a crap about, the thousands of houses you may or may not have sold. You can have a one page on meet the team.
Yes.
But it's got to be brief.
Yeah.
You're going to lose their interest, and you can have one page on testimonials. Don't give 100 testimonials.
Exactly.
You lose them.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's an assumptive close. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready? And I have a question that I roll out, and I don't mind sharing this with your listeners.
Ready.
The question I have is, Joe and Betty, after meeting with me, do you have any doubts that I have the skill and ability to meet your goals and get the job done?
Yeah, I love that.
And then I just shut up. And usually they say no.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
They may have 2 or 3 other interviews set up with other agents. And I'm like, well, do you really want to go through this 3 more times? Or are you ready to get started?
Yeah. I love that. And I love the probing question and then just be quiet. Sometimes majority of people have an issue with silence. And I think silence is the beauty of any success in an ending conversation. Is just let them think. So a lot of times when you give you that silence, you'll actually see people looking up and they're actually thinking about that question because you just asked it to them, and then do the assumption close. Great advice, Gordy, for real estate agents that are listening today that want to take their business to the next level. All right, last question I have for you before we wrap up our conversation this morning. What is the biggest mistake that you see other real estate agent professionals making?
Is an easy one. The biggest mistake I've seen over the years is agents who try to do everything themselves. They try to wear all the hats, and they don't hire an assistant, transaction coordinator, whatever you want to call that person. It's the person that's going to take care of the details. If you're good at selling, you're good at relationships, I guarantee you're not good at the details. We're just not. I mean, we have certain gifting. If you're good at the details, you're probably not good at selling. It's just they're opposites, right? So, and then we hire people that are like us because we like to be around them, and that's not what you want. To hire somebody with the opposite skills, and don't be what I call a lone soldier. Now, I haven't tried to be a huge team of like 10 people. I have nothing against that, except I do think that clients tend to feel handed off.
Yes.
So specialization is good to a degree, but not to the degree of where people feel handed off and where they don't know who their point of contact is. So, but I think the biggest mistake is just trying to wear too many hats. Agents don't want to spend the money. They're worried about having an employee. You got to get over it.
Yeah. And great advice. And I would say the same thing as well. One of my core practices is embrace your strengths and highlight your weaknesses. And you just brought me back in the day before COVID. I used to do with Coffee with the Superstar, remember? And I'd come by your office and I interviewed you, best of the best in the industry, just like what we're doing here. But I'd come in and visit. And I remember sitting down with you and you didn't say it. I was hoping you weren't going to say it here so I could actually say it and let you know that I remember you saying it. You had said, and I've never forgot it, and it's in my dialogue all the time now, that if you do not have an assistant,
you are an assistant.
You are your assistant.
Everybody has an assistant. It just depends on if it's looking in the mirror.
Yeah. If you don't have an assistant, you are that assistant. You need to get out there, and your job as the leader of the team. And if this is not something you're excited about, maybe supporting a team instead of being in front of the team is better suited for you. As a leader of the team, your role is to build and foster the relationships. It's to bring the business in. It's to be the rainmaker. And then you need the team behind you that's going to work the assembly line. They're going to do all of those other things that it takes so that you can continue to do what you need to do. And that's building the business, not managing the business. Great advice, Gordy. And I love that we have kind of the same thought process here. All right. So Gordy, thank you again for being on my show today. I've had you in a few times, and I really, really, really appreciate your time and your expertise and the inspiration and motivation to other real estate agents that are listening to the show today.
Awesome. Thank you, Tina.
To watch my video recording with Gordy or other industry leaders in the real estate space, you can go to bestinseattlerealestate.com, or of course, you can catch it on our YouTube channel or on all podcast channels. Tina Mitchell, your host and local mortgage expert, making a difference in our industry, one interview at a time. Until next time.
Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, is a licensed loan originator with Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited. The views expressed by the speakers on the preceding program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited, nor are they necessarily endorsed by Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited. You are